Hey guys, welcome back. Woodworking here. Today I got something a little different for you. As you can see on the screen, today's topic is how do I get better at Vainglory? The most common question I get from friends in the game is, I've gotten to a certain rank and I can't seem to get any higher. I've watched your videos, but even though my skill has improved, I can't rank up. I am stuck at this plateau. What do I do? First off, let me say that this same thing happened to me, and it happens to every player who plays this game. I was stuck at tier 6 for over 2 months. So let's go into how I think you can get off of this plateau and keep climbing ranks. Play with a party. Are you solo queuing or are you playing with one or more teammates? The best way to give yourself a better chance in ranked is to play with a party. This does a lot of things. It prevents trolling, it allows you to build team synergy, it allows you to play the role you want to play, and to some extent, the hero you want to play. If you are not using the app Discord, I will leave a link in the description below. You should be. Being able to communicate with your teammates, especially at lower tiers where people do not have great map awareness, and against competition that is more often than not on Discord themselves, gives you a huge advantage. Don't play ranked with people that are more than one full skill tier higher than you. I get asked all the time by people to rank with them or carry them. This is such a bad idea if you are truly trying to improve. One of two things is going to happen. Your team is either going to get murdered because you aren't carrying your weight and the other team takes advantage of that, or your teammates are going to step up and literally carry you to the finish line. Their higher skill will make up for all the mistakes you are making that you probably won't even realize you are making. You wouldn't be able to get away with those mistakes in a normal game at that tier. Whatever the outcome, you aren't going to learn much from these games. If you get destroyed, you won't even know what you could have done better. You will probably just write it off as the other team being more skilled, even though it probably had most to do with what you were doing wrong and very little to do with what the enemy team did well. If you get carried, you will get an inflated ego and elo thinking that you can compete at that skill tier. You can't. If you could, you wouldn't need to rank with people that were a much higher skill tier than you to get there. And then, as your elo becomes artificially inflated, and when the people that are carrying you aren't there to carry you, you will get destroyed. Then you will become discouraged because you will lose a bunch of games. All this while not learning much and getting angry at the game. Be aggressive. Let's talk about ranking in general. When I first started playing, before I could even rank, I did what we all did, and I spent most of the game chasing heroes, trying to kill them, or running away trying not to die. I would dive turrets, dive into 1v3 situations. I just didn't know my limitations. After a short while, I learned to be more conservative and play safer. Fast forward to when I first started ranking in this game. I had a hero pool of maybe 2 heroes that I thought I was good with, and the rest were just ones I bought so I could start ranking. If I couldn't get one of those 2 heroes, I played super passive because I had no idea how to use the new hero's abilities or their limitations. But when I played one of my main heroes, I played aggressively within my known limitations. After about 2 to 3 months, I ranked up to skill tier 5-ish, and I started running into players that were way better than I was. Eventually, my mechanical skill in the game caught up, and I was able to move up to tier 6. But again, I got to a point where I could not beat the enemy teams. People were just too good, or my teammates were just too bad. Because the enemy team was better than me, I started to become more passive. I was afraid to fight because I generally lost most fights. I definitely didn't want to fight early. I wanted to have at least a couple items if I was roaming. Teams that were aggressive and assertive destroyed me. This is true at pretty much all levels of Vainglory play. The aggressive team that is pressuring the other one wins most games. Obviously, some team compositions are more late game oriented, and you may not want to pressure early, but when you get your power spikes, you turn on that aggressive playstyle. So what does this have to do with ranking up and getting better at the game? Well, especially if you are tier 7 or under, I am suggesting that you stop playing passively. Stop running away from fights because you don't know if you can win. You lose almost every fight you run away from. Take fights, but more than that, start fights yourself. Force yourself to be aggressive. Go fight after both teams get to the middle of the map the first time at the beginning of the game. Go gank the enemy laner. Force yourself out of your passive comfort zone. If you overextend and die for it, just learn from that. Take away a little knowledge of your limitations, but keep forcing your team and yourself to be aggressive. If you drop a few games from being aggressive, it's okay. Don't worry about it. What you are learning from the aggression is way more valuable than 30 or 40 points of elo. And don't ever stop being more aggressive than you currently are. After a certain amount of games, if I had to guess, probably 20 to 30 for most people, your win rate will skyrocket. You will start to be the team that is steamrolling other people. Being passive is not a winning strategy in Vainglory. Play ranked games. I mentioned this in another video, but if getting to a higher rank is important to you, which it probably is if you stuck around this long listening to me ramble, play more ranked games. About the only thing that is going to make you better at this game during a battle royale is trying new heroes you haven't played before. Casuals are hit or miss, usually miss. The problem with casuals is that there is no draft. You get to pick exactly the hero you want, and that's not how ranking works with this game. You need to be drafting, and part of that is expanding your hero pool. If you only rank a few times a day, and the rest of the time you just play casuals and either mess around or play your main hero, you are not improving. In casuals, you are more likely to get teammates or enemies who troll. An argument can be made that elo is worthless, but at least in ranked games there is something to lose. In casuals there is nothing to lose. There is no incentive to win other than the desire to win. So as I said, people are more likely to troll. People will play their off role or try a new hero or play a joke comp with all roam or double laners. Playing against this type of thing doesn't help you get better. I'm not telling you to never play those game types. They can be fun and even helpful if you're trying a new hero. You're here because you want to get better at this game than you are now. And I am telling you, casuals and BRs are not the way to do that. Do not surrender. Vainglory games aren't decided by who makes the mistakes. Both teams make dozens of mistakes every game. Vainglory games are decided by either who makes the last mistake or usually the team that takes advantage of the enemy team's mistakes better. The game isn't over until it gives you the victory or defeat screen. You can learn a lot in a game where you're getting your ass kicked. I've won countless games where we either had no turrets or just got wrecked for the first 15 or 20 minutes. Death timers get longer for both teams as the game goes on. An ace at any point in the game can easily swing the game towards your favor. Hell, even a single kill can completely change the game. The bounty system for kills that SEMC has created means you are never out of the game, even if the enemy team has 3 times as much CS as your team. I am going to make an entire video, or maybe even multiple videos, on map awareness in the very near future. But let me mention it briefly here because it's very relevant to how to get better at this game. The more you are aware of what is going on the entire map, the better you will get at this game. This learning never stops. I am still working to improve my map awareness at tier 10. I'll give you the highlights of what to be improving your awareness of. The clock. What time things happen in the game and how long until that time. You should know what time it is at any moment within 20 to 30 seconds. If you don't, look at the clock. Initial jungle minions spawn at 25 seconds. Do you know how long it takes them to respawn after you kill them? I'll go into deeper stuff like that when I make the full video or videos on map awareness. The minion and gold mine spawn at 4 minutes. Do you know how often lane minions spawn? You should. How long are death timers? How long are they at 5 minutes? What about at 10 or 15 minutes? If you don't know, you should be checking. And even if you do know, you should still be checking. Kraken spawns at 15 minutes. Do you know how long it takes to take down the Kraken with most team comps? Or if one or more of your team has Stormcrown? You should have some idea. Vision. The best thing you can do to improve your map awareness in relation to knowing where the enemy team is to leave mines in strategic places that reveal the enemy movement, and or flare bushes that you suspect they might be in. I could go on for a long time about map awareness, and I plan to when I make the video, but for now, I think I gave you enough map awareness points to think about. Please check back for my video about map awareness in the near future if you are interested in learning more about it. Counter build. You might already be counter building, but you could probably do it better. Do you look at the enemy team builds or team composition a lot and see what they are building and build according to that? Or do you build the same thing in the same order every game? I see a lot of roamers build the same build order every game, and carries probably even more guilty of this, although it's generally not as bad when carries do it. Let's say you main Catherine, and you know enough to know that you need Fountain first. But after that, what do? Do you always go Crucible and then Contraption? What if the enemy team has a Ringo and a Glaive? Do you still build Crucible and Contraption, or do you fit Atlas into your build before those items? You should. If you main Ringo, do you always build Sorrowblade and then build into Breaking Point first? Or do you look at how much armor the enemy team is building before you decide to build Breaking Point and possibly get a Bonesaw instead? Do you know the difference between those items? You should. If you're roaming and the enemy team has a weapon power Ringo, do you know what the difference is for your team if he builds Breaking Point versus Bonesaw? You should. I mention in my own roam videos all the time what is the biggest threat on the enemy team. But it's not just for roamers to know this. If you are a carry and all three of the enemy heroes has a stun, do you get reflex block earlier than you normally would? You should be. Don't become static and stuck in ways of doing things in this game because it usually works and you are comfortable with it. Be dynamic. Adjust to the current game. Each new trip to the fold is different than the last, even if all the heroes are the same. There's always something that can affect the whole game differently. If you try something and it doesn't work, don't just write it off as worthless. Ask yourself why it didn't work. One of the things I love about this game is the similarities it has to woodworking. As you might have guessed by my username, I do woodworking as a hobby. So in woodworking, I have my set of skills, I have a set of tools, and I have my ability to problem solve. As my skill improves and I get more tools, I can take on more projects or deal with problems as they arise in a project more easily. I probably have multiple ways of doing most projects, and with experience, I learn which way works best. But if I never try new things, I may not realize that there was an even better way of doing it all along. It's like Snapple. They found even better stuff. It's the same in Vainglory. You have your mechanical skill, you have your hero abilities and items, and with those, you have a certain set of teams and players you are able to beat. As you increase your general skill and learn to play more heroes and use abilities, you have more in your Vainglory toolbox. Don't build Crucible after Fountain because that's what you always do. Build it because it's the right thing to do. Don't pick Ringo because he's the only hero you play. Pick Ringo because he works well against the heroes your enemy picked. One caveat to this is the meta. So in Vainglory, there is always going to be a set of heroes that are better than the others. For instance, right now the best roamers are Lance, Arden, and Lyra. At my tier, I am going to pick one of those 90% of the time. But I know how to play pretty much every roam well. If you can't confidently say that at your position you know how to play all the heroes well, then you shouldn't be picking the meta heroes. Now is the time to learn how to play all the heroes. The meta changes all the time, and you do yourself a great disservice by not having all the tools in your toolbox that you can. That way you don't become irrelevant when the only hero you know how to play sucks all of a sudden. Watch videos and streams. You are here because you are seeking out media and videos of how to play better. But don't stop here. Watch as many videos as you can. Watch streamers. People, including professionals, stream 24/7 on Twitch and Mobcrush. Go watch one of the players on those platforms. You can even watch their past broadcast if they aren't currently live. You can learn so much, even from little movements or how to build better, by watching someone else play the game. Don't stop ranking because you get upset. Finally, and this is probably the hardest of all the things I have suggested to do, don't get angry or upset or salty or tilted, whatever it's called these days, when you get on a losing streak and then stop playing ranked for the rest of the day or for the week. As I said before, you need to play ranked games if you want to improve. I don't mean 10 a week. I mean most of the time you spend on the fold should be spent ranking. At least 80% of the time, I'd say. Let's say you play 10 games a day, and you lose your first 2. Then the rest of the day you don't rank because your skill tier dropped from silver to bronze, or you had 2 trolley teammates in a row. Well, if you don't play another ranked game that day, you just lost out on 2+ hours of ranked experience because you couldn't let the last game go. I know this is hard to do sometimes, and I even struggle with it, but like I said, each game is different. Each game is a new experience, and that is the best part about a MOBA, right? So treat it like that with your attitude too. Learn from your mistakes. Play one casual if you get upset and it's affecting your gameplay, but then come back to ranked. You're not going to improve by quitting every time things make you angry or don't go your way. And honestly, that's great life advice too. This seems like a good way to end the video. Thank you for watching. I really do hope you learned something, and I will see you on the fold. Hopefully in ranked.